America first, American first. We are bringing this discussion for the past 6 months, and it looks like whatever we had expected, it's going on. Anyway, Mr. Donald Trump is in United States, and the meeting with the Gulf Cooperation Council and in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and then in the Qatar, and then the Abu Dhabi United Arab Emirates is over, and Donald Trump is back to America. Anyway, Donald Trump is still firm on the negotiation or the ceasefire that happened between India and Pakistan. Donald Trump is still very firm that it happened because of him only. Because this is the first successful attempt that Donald Trump has made. Whatever Donald Trump till now, whatever attempt he has made in the tariff area or any negotiation between the Israel and Hamas and Russia and Ukraine, it did not look like successful. The first time out of the way, Donald Trump became successful when India and Pakistan met. India and Pakistan ceasefire is concerned. Anyway, very few people are aware that there was a mediation by Turkey. So there was a discussion between Russia and Ukraine, and that discussion happened in Istanbul in Turkey. People are unaware of it, means everyone in the is in dazzle of Donald Trump only. Okay, so Russia and Ukraine, they met in Istanbul last last week, I believe Thursday or Friday time period. Russia and Ukraine. Okay, they met there. This is the first time. This is the first time in 3 years when war broke out in 2022 between Russia and Ukraine. When war broke out in 2022, at that time there was some attempt to make negotiation. Anyway, in 3 years, this is the first time that Russian counterpart and Ukrainian counterpart, they were together, head to head, face to face in Istanbul. Turkey was mediating the peace talk between Russia and Ukraine. Anyway, Mr. Vladimir Zelensky, president of Ukraine, he was in Turkey prior to this meeting that happened between the Ukraine and Russia, and he met Erdogan. He is the president or prime minister of Turkey. Anyway, this was expected that Vladimir Putin and Vladimir Zelensky, Ukraine and Russia, they will make direct talk because Russia had made a kind of a suggestion. This is better word, suggestion, not request. Russia had made a suggestion to Ukraine for a direct talk between Putin and Zelensky. But anyway, Zelensky was in Turkey, and there was a kind of there was one a rumor going on that Putin will also come. But anyway, Mr. Putin did not come to the Istanbul for the direct talk between Russian delegation and Ukrainian delegation. Anyway, Mr. Zelensky also left to the Ukraine. So discussion happened between Zelensky delegation and Mr. Putin delegation in Istanbul. Turkey mediated. Turkey is one of the countries that is very successful in mediating between two countries, like I believe Ethiopia and Somalia. Turkey had successfully mediated between them. Now, anyway, when Ukraine and Russia they met in Istanbul, then they talked about the possible ceasefire. Ukraine was forcing Russia to make a ceasefire. At least for temporary ceasefire is required. Once ceasefire is successful, then they can talk about halting the war. Anyway, but Russia was not in hurry for the ceasefire. But anyway, Russia from Russia there is one Mr. Vladimir Medinsky. Vladimir Medinsky, he is just a representative from the Russia, and he is an historian. He was a cultural minister of Russia from 2012 to 2020. So right now he is not full-fledged minister, but he participated. And from the Ukrainian side, foreign minister Mr. Rustam Umarov, so he participated, and there was a discussion going on. So Russian part, they insisted on the root cause of the problem. Root cause of the problem should be first it should be removed. Then only then scenario for the ceasefire can take place. So ceasefire is only possible from the Russia side when root cause of the problem will be will be identified and it will be removed, it will be cleaned out. What is the root cause of the problem between Russia and Ukraine? This is under question mark now. The root cause of the problem between Russia and Ukraine is that Ukraine means somehow in 1980s time period, the Western country power, in business power of the Western country, as far as multinational companies are concerned, it started rising and it contributed breaking the Soviet Union also. In 1991, Soviet Union broke amidst the rising power of NATO country. And in that Ukraine came out of the Russia. And Ukraine completely aligned itself with the NATO country, European Union and America and Canada. This is what Ukraine did. And Ukraine started replacing Russia globally. That is the root cause of all problems. Russia became very weak and Ukraine became very famous. I won't say very strong, but it became very famous. Strong, very prominent Western investment happened in Ukraine. Means Ukraine means new Russia. This is what started happening. The foreign students who were studying in Russia, they started rooting to Ukraine. Whatever the Russia was, whatever world was involved with the Russia, they started getting involved with the Ukraine. So Ukraine started overshadowing Russia. That's why Russia is saying that root cause of the problem should be first find out and it should be cleared out. That is the problem. Anyway, Russia talked about that the Ukraine that is supporting Ukraine keep on getting support from European Union and America. That support should be removed. This is the problem. The way European Union and Russia and America, the way they are supporting Ukraine and Ukraine is replacing the America and European Union, they were in a situation that they were removing the veto power of Russia in United Nations Security Council. And instead they were giving veto power to the Ukraine. That much Ukraine was replacing Russia. Now, in that fashion, Russia is first trying to weaken the Ukraine. If Ukraine become weaker and Russia become up the way Russia was earlier, then it can stop the war. Then there is no need for the war. Anyway, Russia has talked about cutting down the Ukrainian military because European Union is supporting, America is supporting in the Ukrainian military. So cutting down the economy, whatever. The Russia's main focus is Ukraine should become weaker. Then only there can be ceasefire and war stopping or something like that. Anyway, this this ceasefire agreement discussion or deal between Ukraine and Russia was happening on the platform of India and Pakistan ceasefire. Once India and Pakistan ceasefire is successful till now, for 1 week it is successful. In that pretext, now Russia and Ukraine they are also hoping, especially Ukraine. Ukraine was insisting for the ceasefire with the Russia in the Istanbul talk. Now Ukraine, when it saw that Pakistan and India ceasefire is successful, Ukraine is also very hopeful that ceasefire on the context of India and Pakistan, it will also happen with the Ukraine and Russia. This is what Ukraine is hopeful. Now, when this discussion is over, and in this discussion nothing fruitful came out, but one thing came out that 1,000 prisoners from both sides they will be exchanged. But anyway, this cannot be considered as very concrete that happened out in this ceasefire agreement or whatsoever. But what are the things that is what are the things that at least Ukraine and Russia would boast that it was a successful discussion. First of all, first time that these parties they met head to head. This is the first time. Russia was very serious because Russia brought Mr. Vladimir Medicine, Vladimir Medinsky. Vladimir Medinsky, he mediated the discussion between Russia and Ukraine in 2022 May time frame only, when this discussion, the agreement deal between Ukraine and Russia happened in Istanbul only. After 3 years again discussion is happening in Istanbul only. But difference is that Pakistan and India successful ceasefire is in the background. And on top of that background, Ukraine is confident that war will be over. Anyway, when looking at this and Donald Trump first time in past 4 months, when Donald Trump first time he is successful in mediating between India and Pakistan, now Donald Trump is going to push more into this discussion, and Donald Trump would make a virtual video conferencing with Vladimir Putin tomorrow, next day. Today is Sunday. Next day, Monday, they will have a virtual conferencing, and then Mr. Donald Trump would push for the ceasefire at least for the 30 days. Prior to this, prior to this face-to-face discussion between Ukraine and Russia, America and Russia they have already met in Riyadh earlier also, and America and Ukrainian counterpart they have already met in Rome and England also. Then Mr. Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin they have already talked on phone also, and in that telephonic discussion, Donald Trump had talked about 30 days ceasefire, and then Vladimir Putin had agreed upon it. At least no attack on the power station. So that much has happened. Now, question is arising when Russia is talking about eradicating the root cause of the problem, then only the war will be over or ceasefire can be done. Is it the case right now? Certainly. The Russia and Ukraine they are not at the same position they were 3 years back. 3 years back, European Union and America was very powerful. At that time, it became important for the Russia to attack on the Ukraine. That became inevitable. But present scenario is different. The way Donald Trump is behaving to the world and to its own country, America is getting weaker day by day. America is not the same country it was 4 months back. America is getting weaker day by day. The way out of sudden Donald Trump is taking decision in the trade war or some whatever it is, America is down now. What it was 4 years back. Now no head of the state, no prime minister or president is visiting White House nowadays. Means America has become a country people are trying to ignore it. That is the present condition of United States. Second thing is China, which is supporter of Russia. It has become number one country in the world. In that way, Russia is powerful now. So Russia is not the same Russia it was 3 years back. Now, in this situation, it is possible that war will be over because the Russia idea was that Russia people should behave Russia the way people were admiring Soviet Union. This is what Russia wants. Russia S-400, that is the anti-missile system, it is working like a charm in India. India is able to stop all the powerful missile coming from the Pakistan like Gauri and Babar and Ghaznavi. These kind of missile when Pakistan was releasing S-400 anti-missile system of Russia, it was able to control everything. 100% it was able to control. In that fashion, Russia is ramping up in the defense area. China is number one in the export and everything. So this side is heavy now. Now in that fashion, there is a high chance that ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine would happen. Everyone wants this. Anyway, Donald Trump would talk with Mr. Putin tomorrow, next day, and let's see what will happen. But the way days are passing on, China is becoming powerful day by day, and Russia and America is coming down day by day. So the environment between Russia and Ukraine to halt the war, that environment is growing now day by day, and that's why first time discussion happened in Istanbul. We expect that face to face discussion between Mr. Putin and Mr. Zelensky would happen soon. This is what people are expecting, and that day will be the last day of the war, and then the peace between Russia and Ukraine that would come ahead, and war will go behind.